Well, the future of Texas's oil industry lies in the hands and the feet of that lizard, the sand dune lizard, which makes its home, some say, in the oil fields of southeast New Mexico and southwestern Texas. Some say could be on the verge of extinction. But if the federal government puts it on the endangered species list, miles of oil fields could become untouchable. Joining us right now from Austin, Texas, is the Texas Land Commissioner, Jerry Patterson. Good morning to you, Jerry.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, but I know you guys are in a pickle down there. In fact, you described the situation with the lizard as what?
Well, we call it down here reptile dysfunction, because that's exactly what it is. It can put a dysfunctional situation on oil and gas exploration production in Texas.
Okay, so we just showed a little picture of that little lizard. Now, we did the story yesterday talking about how thousands of Texas oil jobs could actually become extinct if that thing is put on that list. How would that happen?
Well, if you cannot go through your normal process of bid sales for leases, and we made almost $1/3 billion last spring just for the right drill. And all that money in Texas goes to public education. Right. So this is a big deal. And when you start taking an area of Texas, the Permian Basin, which is probably the most prolific field in the lower 48 states, you take that and you put this pall over production, exploration and production, then you bring it to a screeching halt. You could actually impact the price of gas in the United States by by the speculators, whatever you want to call them,
sure,
that will react to the news of another area that's off limits to exploration and production.
So not only would thousands of people lose their jobs, but the price of gas would go up as well. And that, it's important to keep those things alive, but how many are there?
Well, I don't think anybody knows. I mean, they did a very cursory inspection. Their data is collected 4 years ago. They had a policy that if they went out a particular area and they didn't find a lizard within 1 hour, they said that, it's endangered. And you can't just look at the lizard on the ground. You got to catch him. You got to turn him over on its belly, and you got to count the number of scales down around his abdomen. It's not something you can identify from afar. So I'm not sure the lizard is extinct or as endangered as they say it is. The science is insufficient, and this is a very severe economic impact, not just for Texas, but for the entire United States.
Sure.
We think that it's not an either-or deal. We'd like to have an opportunity to make mitigation where we can, but we don't have that chance.
Sure. And when you say mitigation, you'd like to figure a way so that you could do both, do the oil production and have that critter roaming around. Here's what the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says. I don't know if this lizard is going to be listed or not, but if it is, there are permitting avenues that will allow private industry to continue to function while we can still recover the species. Now, Jerry, when will the government determine whether or not that thing is endangered and could or could not put it on the list?
Yeah, it's slated to be decided in December, but our point is that other locations have been able to work out what are called conservation agreements.
New Mexico
the landowner,
did.
be it exactly. Texas has not had that opportunity. If we had the opportunity to work out these conservation agreements, there would be money available from the oil and gas industry to help enhance and preserve the habitat, and we could have both. Exploration and production for oil and gas, and we could preserve the habitat for the lizard. We're not being given that choice, and that truly is reptile dysfunction.
Well, that's too bad, because that seems like the fair thing to do. All right, Jerry Patterson, who joins us, he's the Land Commissioner for Texas. Sir, thank you very much for joining us today from Austin.